The Flash 773, Jeremy Adams with Will Conrad on art. It's just me reading this, right? The other one's
Yeah.
cut up. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we kind of noped out.
That's fine. I'll just read the proper Wally West Flash book on my own. I'll have a happy time. So I was fun with this still. Last issue ended with Wally just sort of putting out a fire that had been started by Heatwave. If you recall, Heatwave found out he had cancer in the first issue, so put on his old suit and went on a bit of a rampage. So Wally helps out. The fireman says, "No, you've done your job. You can leave now." And Wally's like, "Shit, I've got a job. I need to get back to it." So he took a job. Mr. Terrific gave him a job last issue where he's kind of the engineer for a team of scientists who are doing a bunch of wacky experiments. So he speeds back and he's like, "Sorry guys, I had to, dip out, do some paperwork." And they're debating about why their experiment's failing, why their rods are melting so quick. It boils down to, like, Wally ends up having the answer where he's like, "Hey, you're using, what was I don't know what the initial material was, but he's like, hey, change it to copper. It's stronger, it'll last longer." And the scientists kind of agree. One's a little bit of a dick. There's a redhead joke. Someone says the redhead might even be right.
I mean, copper is less reactive as a metal. That's why they use it in construction.
That is brought up. What they were using, aluminum. They were using
aluminum. That's terrible.
Aluminum. It's melting too quick. It needs to be something that can last longer. So copper is the trick. So they basically say, "We're gonna go out to lunch. You can install the new copper rods." And he's like, "Okay, sure." And there's some jokes about him being bad with computers. If you also remember, another thing that we started last issue is this mysterious spear or sword that's flying through space. We actually cut to space, and would you believe it? Jessica Cruz shows up.
Oh, you recognize her this time?
Shut up! It was meant to be mysterious. So shut your face.
Still funny though, isn't it?
The point is that they try to stop it with a big yellow construct. Her and her partner here, who is a skeleton-looking dude with a yellow lantern, like, sort of poncho on. But it just smashes right through the construct. So they're like, "That's impossible. Shit, let's go tell Sinestro." And that's it. It's just teasing this flying weapon. But there's another fire, and Wally was so excited that because he was bored waiting for these rods to arrive, that he was actually delighted to hear there was a fire, and then went, "Oh no, of course that's terrible." But then he speeds off, and we get a pretty fun sequence here where Wally has to dodge the flames, save a kid. He's kind of nice to the kid. Does a water tornado to put out the flames, and when he finally is able to confront Rory, he's like, "Hey, what are you doing? Like, why?" And he sort of, like, deduces from what he says that you were at the hospital, you're sick. It turns out that he actually has asbestos in his suit, which I did not know off the top of my head. But
oh man,
that does not sound healthy.
No, so that's why he has cancer. So this adds up.
I mean, being that it's heat resistant, it makes sense. However, heat wave, buddy, you're not Silver Age anymore.
He's also not that smart, to be fair.
True. To be fair, why on Legends he is the Drax.
But I wonder if that was a detail that was written in the Silver Age before it was widely known what asbestos did to people. Anyway, so Wally sort of, like, basically has a heart-to-heart with him, and, like, Mick actually tears up under his goggles and sort of, like, hands over, because he's got, like, an extra detonator in his hand that he's kind of using as a sort of bargaining chip for a moment. But it's a really nice scene. It's kind of, again, Wally reaching out to the villains, because he knows Mick's supposed to be reformed. He's like, why is he doing this now? He's kind of kind to him, to the point where the police who show up to take him away are like, "Why are you being so nice to him?" And he's like, "No, people can change." And, hey, it's really nice Wally stuff. I like that they're dealing with, like, other characters around supporting cast-wise. He realizes he has to get back to work. He's able to use his speed to get back and install the rods just before the scientists get back to the lab. And they let him go early because, well, he's done his work for the day, and, like, they're going to argue about equations and shit, so he can go. And then there's just a fun family page with him having dinner with Linda and the kids. And he cracks some dad jokes, and it's all kind of amusing. The final page is actually just a nice little page to lead into other stuff that Mick's been involved in, because Amanda Waller shows up. And I actually rolled my eyes and I was like, oh my god, is she going to show up at the end of so many books? But to be fair, all this is to, hey, this is how he ends up in the Suicide Squad for both that book and Swamp Thing, where he's been clearly in the Suicide Squad. So it's just a nice little bit of connective tissue to connect it to that, which is cool. But Yeah, this was. I mean, effectively was a two-parter that obviously has this flying sword going through space. It's going to be a big thing for the next arc, but it was a two-parter to establish, hey, this is what his new job is now. This is him. We're going to be dealing with him, reaching out to his, like, you know, the villains in society and the people around him. Family's going to be a factor. It's Wally West flashbook, and it is a solid 7.5. And also, I think Will Kilmer's art is pretty solid. I think the inks and the colors, especially for the Flash suit, look quite good. And because this is Wally, and I said this before when they first brought it back, but it doesn't have all those extra yellow lines that Barry's suits had since the New 52. So it's a very clean-looking Flash outfit, and it looks pretty good. So I'm into it. Like I say, the heart-to-heart, the sort of talking down of Heatwave is a really good sequence, and was definitely a standout in here that felt very Wally West in terms of Flash stories. So 7.5 for me on this issue.